Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Hold On.
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
Walk on,
Walk on, just a little while longer. Walk on, just a little while longer. Walk on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
pray on,
Pray on, just a little while longer. Pray on, just a little while longer. Pray on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
sing on,
Sing on, just a little while longer. Sing on, just a little while longer. Sing on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
hold on,
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
hold on,
Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim, for Yahshua's sake, has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As it is written, let he that has an ear hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. When we deal with Yahweh's law, we have to deal with that it is his culture, the culture that he was giving unto us. And what ends up happening is people have bits and pieces of Yahweh's law that they do not like. And what happened is it allows us to jump in and out of that law depending on what particular thing we feel sensitive about at that particular moment. But when you get right down to this culture, Yahweh had given this culture before he had actually given the law. You have all of these instances where there are things that Yahweh is holding man responsible for, yet there was no official law code being given at that point. So there was a culture that was already there. There was a culture that Yahweh placed upon this earth at creation of man, and it was to be followed. What happened is, as time progressed, Yahweh chose a people who would be his representatives on the earth. And then a higher level of that culture fell upon those individuals, which are the children of Israel. And when those things were not dealt with accordingly, then Israel got dealt with more than any other nation. So you have other nations who can do the same things we get off into those things, and then we have a much stiffer penalty, and it is confusing unto us. Why is this happening? Because you were chosen to be his representatives here on earth. And how you end up dealing with things end up tarnishing or magnifying his name. So you have to ask yourself, which one am I doing? Am I tarnishing his name or am I polishing his name? Which one am I doing? Because you're doing one or the other. Whether you're trying to, whether you're just, label it under, I'm just trying to live. I'm just living my life. I'm just doing my thing. Whatever that is you think you're doing, understand that you're doing one or the other. And because of who we are, we're going to have to answer for that. Now, when we mention the two paths to salvation, naysayers end up having tremendous issues digesting such a topic. It is clearly written, "Bother not the Gentiles concerning circumcision, while the children of Israel are still instructed to receive circumcision." This, among other things, clearly directs the children of Israel and the Gentiles down two different paths that lead to the same destination. We stumble at that stumbling block when it comes to spiritual things. So let's examine this situation using a carnal lens for a second. A local tire shop on the corner repairs tires. So we must ask ourselves, does everyone in the tire shop repair tires? If so, who orders the inventory? Who takes care of the human resource issues? And who answers the phone? All of these individuals work at the same place for the same goal, and their goal is to get paid for their services. These individuals perform different tasks, yet they receive the same prize, which is their pay on that same day, which is their payday. This everyday situation illustrates different paths that lead to the same goal. If we can see this so clearly during 9 to 5, how is it that from 5 to 9, we go spirit blind? Let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 2. And today's sermon is entitled, "The Culture of Law." Genesis chapter 2 and verses 1 through 3. And today's sermon is entitled, "The Culture of Law." We're also having Bible trivia today. So if you guys have not been, if you're not on our email list and you did not get a email of questions, then send an email to theuci.org@gmail.com, and then those questions will be forwarded to you. Please make sure you don't have the email before you send us an email. Genesis chapter 2 and verses 1 through 3. Now we're going to, y'all's will do Bible trivia today at around 4:30. All right, Genesis chapter 2, and let's start that at verse 1.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
So then the question is, what happens is we have many individuals who don't want to deal with this Sabbath day. So then they say that this Sabbath day is about the Jews. So then we have to ask ourselves a question. Where is Israel at this point? At the point where he has blessed and sanctified the Sabbath day, where is Israel? So if this is about Israel, where are we? See, this is where people like to have tunnel vision when it comes down to certain things. Now, they got a wide angle lens when it comes down to something that they might benefit from. But when it comes down to something that cramps their style, you have to understand, Saturday mornings when all the little league games go on. So you already have this huge amount of people that's already saying, you know what, I mean, why can't we do this tomorrow? You know, because, you know, little John he's an awesome little quarterback. He's awesome. You know, I don't think, you know, no God would want him to not play this game. So now we're going to make reasons why it should be okay. And understanding I came from that. So it was a hard step to step out of that because, hey, I had a child that I had raised into that from the minute he could walk. But then once this word came, hey, I got to make some changes. Go ahead.
You know, my brother, it's funny how the Spirit works, because just a couple of days ago, this was placed on me, and it was the same thought process of, where's Israel? Where's the rest of the nations when Yahweh said, man should rest on this same day that I rested,
Right.
allowing us to take rest. So then how, like you just said, how does it become Israel? But it was amazing to me when I looked at the first thing and I'm like, wow, the Spirit truly works in mysterious ways. For this to be the first thing after I've been meditating on this couple of days, because you know, the minute you tell somebody, I'm going to church on Saturday, you Seventh-day Adventist? No, I'm not. And I got this last week on the way here. You don't believe Sunday's a Sabbath? No, it is not.
Right. No, I know it's not.
So
You
then I
know?
had to tell the person, when I see you in person, I'll break it down for you. And Yahweh be praised. That happened yesterday. I think it was Thursday, don't get me wrong, but I had the opportunity to break it down to him and put him on the calendar, in front of a calendar. I say, this is the calendar we all know, we all grew up with. What's the first day? Sunday. Okay.
But you see what happened though? They introduced a different culture than Yahweh's. So they accept their days not by law, but by culture. But so do we. Because before law, there was his culture. We just learned about it through the law. Then we have to back up because there is no official law code happening here. There are no nations. There are no divisions between one individual and another individual. It's just man, woman, and at that point, ain't even that. You got earth and man. It is what it is. These are the instructions. I rested, you rest. It has nothing to do with this law that was given to a group of people. It has simply to do with, are you on the planet Earth? Well, then the Sabbath is for you. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made.
Right. So then this is the point that you have to deal with. This was about his work and him resting. This is not, there's absolutely no mentioning of what a Jew is. There is no Jew. He has not made any kind of separation at this point. So this has nothing to do with that. So now what you're seeing then is Yahweh introducing a culture on the earth that he created. Let's go to Exodus chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came on to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt.
So after coming out of Egypt, Yahweh is now getting ready to prepare these people to be independent and being in charge of their own destiny. See, slaves don't have to worry about that kind of thought process, okay? It's why some people join the military so that they would never have to make decisions. The military tell them what to do.
Turn left. Turn right. Hut, 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 hut. He only said 3 huts. Because if I take 4th hut, I fall into the river. So I'm at 3 huts. Hut, hut, hut.
And then when it comes down to something, that is their protection. Did you kill this village? Yes, I did. Everybody in the village? Yes, I did. Who told you to do that? My commanding officer. Oh, okay, well, go to trial. Those were your instructions. Okay, all right. They get to hide behind their orders. If those were the orders, those were the orders. You got to deal with his commanding officer about those orders. You got a problem with the village of dead people? Talk to my commanding officer. That don't have nothing to do with me. That go with the guy that's got the more stripes. That's his problem. It's not my problem. I received orders. I followed them. So Yahweh is getting these individuals ready because they have been accustomed to, don't worry about nothing but the job that we give you. You don't worry about law. You don't worry about making no decisions. We're going to make all that for you. Go ahead.
You know, there's two things on the side of that following your orders. Because like you said, hey, I killed everybody that was with my orders. Like with Saul, hey, what is this bleating that I hear over here? Why is this man still alive? You didn't follow orders.
Exactly.
So there's two sides to that.
It sure
you
is.
either follow them orders all the way.
All the way.
And you can get in trouble. Well, he gonna get in trouble, the commander, if something went wrong. And don't follow them all the way, and you still be in question.
Yep. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and Aaron in the wilderness.
You need to learn that this is your people. That as soon as something does not go our way, this is us. You can sing all these happy songs and have all the Israelite pet rallies you want and get all them fake tribe charts. You can do anything you want to. But do understand, the moment that something does not go Israel's way, get ready for the murmuring. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel said unto them, would to Elohim we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Egypt.
Now, I don't think people understand just how powerful this is. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to Elohim we had died. You might want to not talk about death to somebody who has the power to give it to you. Oh, I'm saying, you won't die? You won't die? Make that happen. Go ahead.
When we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
So the first thing that we have a problem with is we don't have food readily available. Yahweh is trying to purge something out of the children of Israel. Now, we never consider that Yahweh is trying to deal with us. It's always Yahweh dealing with them and those people and that person. He's never dealing with us. This daily food is being taken for a reason. And what do? Murmur against the individuals that they see. Go ahead.
Then said Yahweh unto Moshe, behold, I'll rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no.
So then this manna then has a purpose. I'm going to prove whether or not these people are going to follow my instructions. I just now pulled them out of Egypt and they running off at the mouth already. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moshe and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even, then you shall know that Yahweh has brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then you shall see the glory of Yahweh, for that he hears your murmuring against Yahweh. And what are we that you murmur against us? And Moshe said, this shall be, when Yahweh shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For that Yahweh hears your murmurings, which you murmur against him.
You're murmuring against him. This is what people don't really understand. They believe that they're murmuring against the individuals that they see. Those individuals are just doing a job. Who they really have a problem with is Yahweh. Because he's the real decision maker. Go ahead.
And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against Yahweh. And Moshe spake unto Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before Yahweh, for he has heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of Yahweh appeared in the cloud.
Right. Imagine if we were able to see something like that. We think that we would be more obedient. No, we do the same thing they did. We would be in awe the first time we saw, look at the power of the cloud, look at the glory.
2 weeks later, we're like, hey, look, tell the glory I'll be back. I'm going to go over here.
2 weeks. We done got used to it. It ain't that glorious no more. Go ahead.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground.
Right. So then you have quails and bread. To this day, what does Israel love the most? Yard bird and bread. That is the staple of our life. We go into $1 million restaurant. You know the first thing we're looking for? Yard bird.
Y'all got some chicken? Sir, you have entered into a fine establishment. We don't even have mustard here. We have Grey Poupon. But you wonder what?
Chicken. Do y'all have some chicken? Some bird? What you got to flap? Right. Right. We see the same. We see the same. Go ahead.
I mean, you got to think about it. We still basically follow the same regimen. At even you shall eat flesh. That's around dinner time. And in the morning you shall be filled with bread. What do we have? Pancakes, bagels, toast.
Bro, we're the same people. We think we have evolved, that we done changed, that we done did all these things. You just got a few more letters behind your name because you went to somebody's school. You the same as our folks were. Your main thing, the first thing we get when we go to the store,
Baby, go get that chicken, and you go get that bread, and then we're going to get everything else in between.
we ain't coming up out of there without them two things. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they knew not what it was. And Moshe said unto them, This is the bread which Yahweh has given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take you every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
Right. But here come Israel. Every man gathered it according to his eating. Now understand the way Yahweh made this go. If you have more people in your house, it's going to last more, so that everybody in your house gets satisfied. But we still go on the things that we can do with our own hand. Go ahead.
And Moshe said, Let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moshe, but some of them left of it until the morning.
Now see, this is Israel for you. He said, I'm going to take care of you every day.
Well, you know, what I got right here is a case. What you got in that case? Just in case. That's what this is. I keep this extra just in case.
Just in case what? Just in case I don't come through? Just in case I might not be telling you the truth? Who you trying here? Right. Go ahead.
And it bred worms and stank. And Moshe was angry with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe.
Because before Yahweh shows them that they're going to get double on the 6th day, they have already tried to take care of themselves leading up to the 6th day. Do you see that? Some of it, they left of it till the morning, it bred worms and stank. That's a black word, that's stank. It didn't stink, it stank. So what's happening? They're trying to take care of themselves before it gets to the Sabbath. So then when it gets to the Sabbath and then this happening, now they're amazed and they coming and telling Moshe, didn't I tell you he was going to take care of you? What's the problem? Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting who stepped up. And like you mentioned in your prayer about us all being accountable for the house of Yahweh, it says, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just stand by and say, Brother Yonah grabbing double, that's his business. He'll have to deal with it when it stink. Joel done got him a 4-pack. Ain't worry about that. No, they went and said, hey man, they transgressing.
Hey. And you have to examine the whole situation to see how it turns out. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, this is that which Yahweh had said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh. Bake that which you will bake today, and seed that you will seed, and that which remains over lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Now hold on, because any other day you kept it over, it bred worms and stank. Go ahead.
And you know, in this instance, now Moshe is breaking it down. But at that point, they didn't know.
Exactly.
They were just doing something, and the ruler's like, hey man, they transgressed. Moshe's like, okay, let me explain this to you. In a roundabout way, no, they're not. This is supposed to sustain them. So let me explain. And that's where we get to where we might see something, don't understand it, but yet we won't present it. We just go off on our own thought process. Verse 24, and they laid it up till the morning as Moshe bade, and it did not stink. Neither was there any worm therein.
Right. See, when you do it the way that Yahweh tells you to do it, it works out best. So you have all these individuals that they want this and they want that and they want this over here. And then they go about some sneaky, deceptive way of getting it, and it never works out for them. Then they get mad at the brother or sister that it does work out for.
Well, why they got it?
That's because they wasn't being a snake in the grass to get it like you. Go ahead.
And Moshe said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days shall you gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And you know, even like you was talking about earlier, now we got Israel on the scene. But what Moshe said, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. This ain't Israel's Sabbath. This is Yahweh's Sabbath.
Right.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none.
Now, and what for? They had already gotten a double amount the day before. They had gotten enough to sustain them for both of those days. But here we go.
I just want, just in case.
Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long refuse you to keep my commandments and my laws?
Now, this part you got to really pay attention to. Now, did Moshe go out and go get some manna?
Nope.
Okay, did Moshe lead any coalition of people? Did he put together some manna team?
All right, look here, y'all team manna. All right, now go out and see if you see some out today on the Sabbath.
Listen to what Yahweh said to him. See, this is the part about being the head of a house. See, we want to be the head of the house when it come down to getting a big piece of chicken. But you also the head of the house when the trouble starts. He says, how long refuse you to keep my commandments and my law? I ain't want to know where what you talking about? I've been right here. He said, how long refuse you? He ain't do it. I'm sorry, but ain't you in charge of this? Ain't you in charge of this outfit here? Okay. Well, if he did it, you did it. If she did it, you did it. If they did it, you did it. If anybody did it, you did it. Why did it happen under your watch? Well, you did it. And people who've never been in charge of anything, they can't grasp that thought.
They say, oh, look at that, brother, micromanaging everything. He's just a micromanager. That's what's wrong with him. He's just micromanaging. He ain't got no business over here trying to figure out, saying what's going on in the media department. Why you in there? Just stay behind the altar.
They don't know the culture of my God. Because see, the culture of my God, he not going to come to the dude who clicking the graphics wrong. Because he watching some video on his phone and everybody else, everything keep coming back late. He not going to come to that dude. What he going to do is I'm going to be on the way, walking to my door, and the angel going to kick my foot and knock me over. What happened? Which one of y'all did the graphics wrong? As I dust off my kufi. You're not coming to them. Pay attention. The culture is you hit the head first. What boxer you seen go in and start swinging at the feet? If you're going to knock him out, you're going to have to hit him in the head. And you're going to have to make a way to hit him in the head. It's gut. Let him grab over here, pow, then get that head. All right? You got to find a way. You can't just get to the head. But you got to find a way to get to the head. Because he's not going to get knocked out because you hit him in the shoulder. He ain't got no business being a fighter. If you hit him in the shoulder, he'll be like, ow, I don't want to fight no more. Man, we want our money back. This is the worst fight we ever saw in our life. No, you going to knock him out? You got to hit him in the head. Okay. Yahweh is showing you that culture. Everybody want to be in charge. Do understand. All the problems are yours, no matter who does them. Go ahead.
Verse 29, Exodus chapter 16 and verse 29. See, for that Yahweh has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he gives you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide you every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day.
Now you see what Israel pushed Yahweh to do? Go in your house and just stay there. You see that little tent right there? You see that little tent? I want you to get in there and zip it up. Stay holy inside the tent. Don't come out of there. Because y'all can't follow instructions. And we're the same people. We're the same people. Go ahead.
So the people rested on the 7th day.
They rested on the 7th day because he made them. They rested on the 7th day because he made them stay in the tent. Sometimes you got to make Israel do right. They're not going to do right on their own. And Israel has this false belief that we going to do better on our own. I remember I used to think that. I thought that same thing until the police came. Then I realized, no, unless it took these handcuffs to stop me. And the same thing going to have to happen to some of us. We're not going to stop until he stops us. Go ahead.
And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. And it was like coriander seed, white. And the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moshe said, This is the thing which Yahweh commands. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt.
Right. Yahweh told them to keep some of this. But if you look at or listen to some of the naysayers, they'll tell you that this is part of some kind of idol thing. If you have anything about the manna or anything that represent it. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto Aaron, Take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before Yahweh, to be kept for your generations. As Yahweh commanded Moshe, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony, to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came onto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah.
All right, let's go to our Exodus chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31. You know, what ends up happening a lot of times when people get into the Sabbath from a law perspective, what they do is change the objective about the Sabbath. So they say, okay, well, every day is holy. Monday is holy, Tuesday is holy, Wednesday is holy. That was not the subject. The subject was the rest day. You can't rest on every day. Then you have to ask yourself, like my brother was saying, you look at any calendar, it tells you, and even the Bible backs that up, that after the Sabbath, it was dawning to the first day of the week. Why would anybody need rest on the first day? You just now started. You ain't did nothing yet. You see that? Common sense. Well, I'm gonna rest on the first day. Shouldn't you actually do something before you rest? What if you got to work at 8? And they say, all right, man, come on, grab this. I'm on my break. You on your what? You just clocked in at 7:59. You on your break at 8:02?
Yeah, I'm resting.
From what? What have you done? Go ahead, bro.
Exodus chapter 31 and verse 12.
Verse 12.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak you also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations.
Now, Yahweh is getting to the point. There was already the culture of the Sabbath. There was already a thing instituted for all of mankind. But now that he has chosen him a people, now this Sabbath is going to be a symbol between you and I. But all mankind was given the Sabbath day from the beginning. See, what naysayers want to do is to point back to the law and say, you see who was given the thing about the Sabbath? Israel. No. Man was given the Sabbath in the beginning. Go ahead.
And you may know that I am Yahweh that does sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
So now you have a situation why people would say, well, this is just for the Jews, because now understand something. Now, because of these things, our people are suffering the worst when we transgress the Sabbath. So then as other nations look, they say, well, we transgress the Sabbath, ain't nothing happened to us. But every time that boy that work on the Sabbath, he be sick for 2 days after. Go ahead.
6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is a Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahweh. Whosoever does any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant.
A perpetual covenant is the Sabbath. Perpetual means forever. It is ongoing. And the first thing any deceiver wants to do is to dissolve covenants. Go ahead.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
Right. So if you just read this here, you didn't get the part in Genesis before there was an Israel, then you think, okay, yeah, it's based on creation, but it's based on creation for Israel. Well, then you missed the part in Genesis where there is no Israel, yet there is a blessing and sanctifying of the Sabbath day. And the people who keep the culture that Yahweh has set up, those are his people. So then there's a more strict law given to the people that are supposed to represent him. Go ahead.
When you look at even the end of 17, you're talking about a God, an El, who rested, and then he said what? He was refreshed. We flesh and blood. He had to institute something for us to say, man, take a rest, because we so busy chasing filthy lucre that we work back to back 7 days a week, round the clock if we could.
Bro, I worked so much at one point, I passed out in an attic. It was time that I should have been eating, but I'm counting money. Cause you know they done set me up.
You know, however many of these you do, we're gonna pay you by how many of these you do. I said, say what? I said, you better say that again, Mr. Bob Dabalino. He said, look here, if you do 3 of these in a day, now no human body should be able to do but 1. But if you can do 3, we're gonna give you a bonus. I said, you step back and watch, Mr. Bob Dabalino, because I'm about to get this paper. So then I'm hungry, right? And I should be going to lunch. But I gotta make this money, man. So I reach in my bag. I got some lifesavers. They about to save my life. So I pop in a lifesaver and I keep working. I feel that happen from my stomach. So this time I pop 2 lifesavers. Pow, pow. All right? I keep on going. My stomach goes. I said, look here, man, I got you. Give you 3 this time. Pow, pow, pow. Next thing I know, I was getting up. It was a blessing. See, even when Yahweh slap you, he still had mercy. Had I fell in between the joists, I would have fell all the way down inside them people's living room. I fell across the beams. I don't even remember falling. What I remember is getting back up. And as I'm getting back up, I'm like, how in the hell I get down here? You know what? I should probably take lunch.
Right. Yahweh had to tell somebody, if you don't sit down, you ain't gonna be able to get up. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 18. And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of Elohim.
Right. So then we have this situation of the Sabbath being ordained for Israel. But if you let somebody else go and deal with this, they're only going to go here. They're not going to deal with the part in Genesis because, quite frankly, the part in Exodus says, for Elohim created the earth and rested. So why would you need to go and read that in Genesis? Because it is in Genesis that you deal with the fact that Israel has not been created as a nation. That's why you got to go there. Let's go to John chapter 9. And because the adversary, the devil, has given us the opposite day, okay, the Sabbath is the last day. So the adversary, being who he is, he then gives us the first day. And then you have a whole lot of first day people coming and arguing with you.
See, that's what you see. Y'all problem is y'all looking for that law. See, that's why y'all don't have no faith. See, that's why y'all keeping the Sabbath.
Because they are not able to make the correlation that the Sabbath existed before law. It is Yahweh's culture. And then what he gave us is his culture. John chapter 9, and let's start that at verse 1.
And as Yahshua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciple asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?
Right. So this is the carnal nature of Israel. Something happens, and then, we automatically try to figure out what somebody might have done for this to happen. But Yahweh has a whole nother thing going on. Things that we don't have access to. Go ahead.
Yahshua answered, Neither has this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Elohim should be made manifest in him.
So consider that. Something might have happened bad in your life. Not that you had done anything wrong. Or maybe you had. But if he did it so that his works could be manifested, then it's not about what you had done right or wrong. It was so that he could get some glory to his name. And Yahweh is also the maker of multiple happenings. It could be that you did something wrong and he gonna get some glory. Yahweh can kill 15 birds with one stone and never throw it. He say stone, they all die. He didn't throw it. Go ahead.
I must work the works of him that sent me. While it is day, the night comes when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore, and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He's like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were your eyes opened? He answered and said, A man that is called Yahshua made clay and anointed my eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Yahshua made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight.
Now, people are then going to use this situation to actually go against keeping the Sabbath because of how somebody else dealt with the Sabbath. See, this is what naysayers do. They find somebody dealing with something wrong, use the wrong dealing of something to attack the right concept of that same thing. Go ahead.
He had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed, and I do see. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of Elohim, because he keeps not the Sabbath day.
You check that out? Now, he's not a servant of Elohim because he healed somebody on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
How can a man that is a sinner, this man is not of Elohim because he keeps not the Sabbath day? Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. They say unto the blind man again, What saith you of him, that he has opened your eyes? He said, He is a prophet.
All right. That's as far as I want to go right there. But then we see that this Sabbath, we can even get into the book of Acts, and we can see that Sabbath is even being instituted unto the Gentiles as they are receiving instruction. Go ahead and deal with that, brother. I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 2. Genesis chapter 2. And we're going to read verses 18 through 24. And when we look at these things, even when you deal with the whole setup of the Sabbath, when you talk about Yahshua coming back to the earth to set up a righteous governmental system and putting down all lawlessness, what do you think that is? That is the spiritual Sabbath. When it talks about that first resurrection, these 1,000 years of peace, that is the spiritual Sabbath. So you have all of these people who want to take part in something, but look at how they're dealing with it. The way they want to deal with it is, we're going to die and zip tang go to heaven. Then what does that do? That gives you the opportunity to bypass the spiritual Sabbath because you're in heaven already. As soon as you die. We can't find any of that in this book. What we find in this book, that the dead are asleep until the day of resurrection, the day of judgment, then they are awakened. That's what this book says. So then we have to deal with some things. For people to jump in and out of this, they have to ignore Yahweh's culture. Genesis chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse 18. And Yahweh, Elohim said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him." So, excuse me, who said man should not be alone? Yahweh. So even when I see a situation and a sister say, "Well, you know, I'm an independent sister," you know what? You're not even understanding how you were created and what you were created for. If Yahweh said it wasn't good for the man to be alone and you was created for him, now you want to be independent. Hell, he could have left him independent if you had. Right. Run, go tell that. Verse 19. "And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam, to man, to see what he would call them. And whatsoever man called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him." Now, you got to think at some point he began to be curious. That Yahweh gives him a job, and he noticed, you know, I seen the lion, but I seen the male and female. That's interesting. Okay, I seen the hippopotamus. I seen the male and female. Interesting. Hey, there go a gorilla. Wait a minute, there's man and female gorilla. Wait a minute. It's interesting. It's quite peculiar. Ain't nobody here but me. At some point, you have to think that he's starting to get a clue here that maybe he not finished making yet, because how these animals got somebody and I ain't got nobody. Verse 21. "And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof." Today they would call that an operation. What they do before they operate on you, they put you to sleep. Time go night-night. They mimicking what Yahweh does. Verse 22, "And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto man." Verse 23, "And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." Who told him that? Hold on. When man realized he was naked, Yahweh said, "Who told you you were naked?" But when he saw that woman, he automatically knew. What? I said, what? He automatically, ain't nobody had to tell him Nathan. He know this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I must have had a good night because I done woke up and look at what I have here. "And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man." If he was asleep, how he know she came out of him? See, there's some culture being administered here with what Yahweh is doing. And then Yahweh, understand, what do they do when they have a marriage? They say, who gives away this woman? Yahweh brought him the woman. Who gives away this woman? I do. I'm Yahweh. I made this woman and I give her unto this man. And you got to understand why woman is made different from any other thing on the face of this earth. All of this other stuff was made out of the earth itself. Woman is the only thing that was made from something that was made, which is probably the only reason why she's the only one that can make something. Y'all probably gonna hear that later.
That's why you can't make nothing. You understand?
Yeah, make her mad today. It ain't gonna be good for you. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's right.
Verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So then what is happening right here at this point? Marriage is instituted through culture, not through law. See, you have the law of marriage, and then you have the culture of marriage. The culture of marriage is not instituted by law. This is instituted by this culture that Yahweh is setting forth here on this earth. You have to understand, man was given instructions not to eat from the tree of knowledge. The idea of what a wife was to her husband was implied at her creation, not law. Let's go to Genesis chapter 24. Genesis chapter 24, and let's read verses 58 through 67.
Verse 58. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I'll go.
Now, understand something about what's happening here. This is where culture overrides all these other things. Rebekah is agreeing to go with a man. You know he didn't show up with like,
You know what? Let me show you something. This is my master. You see him? Don't he look dashing?
you understand that she's agreeing to go get married, but she has not seen the man. See, herein lies the power of culture. See, we get into all these things where we courting and we dating, and then
We say, well, you know what? You know, girl, I ain't just gonna get with him. I'm gonna make him wait.
I gotta make you wait to the 5th date. I got to see if you're crazy. Right, okay. So what happened? You wait 3 months, you doing all that, what happened? Everybody just lying for 3 months. And then you open your eyes one day and out comes this lizard. But don't get it twisted, there are male lizards and there are female lizards. Okay? All right, that's the reason they have lot lizards. They're just a lizard in that parking lot, all right? But there are male lizards and female lizards. You can normally tell because they normally come with their tongue out. Okay, so you got these lizards, right? But here it is. Rebekah ain't even seen this dude. Rebekah has agreed, yes, I will go with this man to meet his master and marry this man whom she has never seen. Herein lies the power of culture. So we spend our time, we're going to look here, we're going to look there. I want this kind of man. I want this kind of woman. I want this. When culture is the ruling force, there's already some alike things there. The whole purpose of going over there, because, hey, I know how, your folks raise women. So we know that woman raised right. Now, you can always go in a good family and get a bad one. We know that. But if you go to a bad family and get a bad one, who the hell can you blame? You can't blame nobody but yourself. You know everything that came out that house been bad. At least if everything came out the house was good and you got a bad one, you can argue.
Why you ain't like your sisters?
Go ahead, brother.
There was a time when you could say what you depend on. I want a country girl. Why you want a country girl? Because, boy, I know she can cook.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a time you say, okay, she was raised by her grandmama. She going to have something. Boy, now grandmama in the club with them.
You ain't lying. Grandmama tell her, baby, that ain't how you twerk. See, you got the left, right, then drop. Okay, left, right, drop. Now pick it back up. Now do it in a circle. Now do it in a circle. Do it in a circle. Now drop it back. Let grandmama show you, baby. I know twerking. You be like, what? Right. Go ahead.
And they sent away Rebekah their sister and her nurse and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, You are our sister. Be you the mother of thousands of millions, and let your seed possess the gate of those which hate them. And Rebekah arose, and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah, and went his way. And Esau came from the way of the well Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Esau went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Esau, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walks in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself.
All right, so she gonna, make sure she approaching right, but understand something. They ain't never met. See, this the power of culture, and people try to tell you, I don't like, the way they arrange marriages and they do that, so I make my own decision. You talk to them same people, you be like, okay, so how many times you been married? 5. Well, your own choices don't seem to be working out too well, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Culture. Same mindset helps things come together as one. Go ahead.
And the servant told Esau all things that he had done. And Esau brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Esau was comforted after his mother's death.
Right. So they got married the first day they saw each other.
We say, oh no, that can't possibly work. He don't know her.
Well, how long you knew that lizard that you dated? Still turned out to be a lizard, didn't it? Right. Lack of culture between you and the lizard. See? And this also what comes about when we get together in lizarddom, because we still a lizard, they a lizard. Then we turn around and get in the word. Uh-oh. Now you changing and they still in lizarddom. Now you done found yourself unequally yoked. Because you stuck with this lizard-like creature that won't grow. Some decisions have to be made. Did we finish that, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 20. Genesis chapter 20. And let's read verses 1 through 18.
And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She's my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah.
Right, because he said it was his sister. So then you automatically see that there is a culture about a man and a woman and the rights that are there between a man and a woman. Yet we do not have the law of adultery per se. But there's already a culture of it. But the law has not been instituted unto Israel. So then there's already a culture concerning how things are to be done. And what people think is this is their own goodness.
See, I just try to be a good person.
What is good? See? What is good? Do you define what's good? Do I define what's good? Who defined what's good? There was already a culture that defined what was good. So we want to put everything on the law. That way we can avoid it by law. Go ahead.
Even when you think about what Cain said, right, when he was being put out, he said, my punishment is more than I can bear, which I thought was funny because you just killed a man.
Right.
All you doing is getting exiled. He said, anyone finding me will kill me.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think of what was the thought process. Oh, we know you're a murderer. You should be put to death.
Exactly. But it's funny how the people who have no mercy are the ones who always talk about mercy.
Bless him for his mercy. I don't have none. But bless him.
How is it you talk about mercy all the time, but you ain't willing to give? You just want to be the receiver of mercy. You're not going to give none to anybody else. And people want to know, when you know somebody ain't right, why didn't you throw them out? Mercy. They have to have the opportunity to either change or prove that that is who they are. Go ahead.
But Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Behold, you're but a dead man.
Check that out. You a dead man walking. Now why you gonna say that? Go ahead.
For the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's wife.
Now, not only is there a culture concerning marriage, look at how Yahweh holds him accountable. See, because we get together. We go out to one of them den of iniquities. We go to Club Watusis, and then we done made us the decision on the dance floor. And then by the morning, we said, well, I didn't know she was married. Go ahead.
But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Adnai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she's my sister?
Right. Now, right. Look, hold on, Yahweh. Didn't he say she was his sister? Go ahead.
And she, even she herself said, he's my brother.
Okay, both of them done lied. Go ahead.
In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And Elohim said unto him in a dream, Yes, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I you not to touch her.
I'm the reason why you didn't touch her. I know you got in the situation in your integrity. They were afraid of you, so they wouldn't tell you the truth. But I'm the reason why you didn't do that. Yahweh don't give him no passes, though. Go ahead.
Before you start beating on your chest, you had nothing to do with staying away from
Exactly. Before you start taking credit, I'm the one that caused equipment failure every time you got near her.
Normally, I'm able to. I don't know what's happening today.
Go ahead, bro.
Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you, and you shall live.
Now you get to live if you do this. Go ahead.
And if you restore her not, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours.
Now, your whole house gonna die. You don't get this man back his wife. Yeah, but she didn't tell him, and then he didn't, and then that's why, because. Yeah. Give him back his woman, or you gonna die. You don't offer no alternatives. Go ahead.
Therefore Abimelech arose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What have you done unto us? And what have I offended you, that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done.
You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. You presented this woman like she wasn't your wife. If I had touched this woman, then I'm going to have to deal with the wrath of God. Go ahead.
Once again, like you're saying, custom, because there's no law. He said, you've done things that ought not to be done.
Ought not to be done. And these people are not Israelites. All right? They are not from the same thing. They're not part of Abraham's culture, yet there is a common thought process of a man is not supposed to touch that belongs to another man. Go ahead.
And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What saweth you that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake.
So that must be something that's happening around there. Because you got to think what they say. A woman belongs to a man as long as he lives.
Well, all we gotta do is kill him, and we kill him, and then she's free to be with me.
Go ahead.
And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother.
And we know later on the law says against that. So I don't care how she's your sister, whether she's your, as they used to say when I was young,
That's your half brother.
Yahweh didn't care. Go ahead.
And she became my wife. And it came to pass, when Elohim caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is your kindness which you shall show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes unto all that are with you, and with all other. Thus she was reproved.
And he said, you see how he did unto Sarah? He said, Behold, I have given your brother. That what you told me he was.
I done gave your brother.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we all brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? We brothers and sisters in this word. So any brother could come up and say, I'm like, man, who is that right there? Oh, that's my sister. Yeah, it is his sister in the word. Then you see him and they,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Think you gave me the wrong type of sister. This ain't all, brother. You ain't telling me the whole truth.
go ahead.
So Abraham prayed unto Elohim, and Elohim healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children.
Check that out.
For Yahweh.
Check that out. Yahweh done hit when he said all of yours, he's finna kill all the rest of the wives. And see, this is where a wife's counsel is good. Not just to agree with your husband, but to help him make decisions. Because understand, if he makes this decision wrong, you do understand that the power of that goes inside the whole house. See, this is why you don't just want to marry any old kind of woman.
Who just said, yeah, you want that? Go get that.
Because see, now, he had already taken unto this woman. So basically, he just looking at whatever looked good physically. But Yahweh said, you don't get that man his wife back, I'm killing you and all of yours. Now he has prosperity in his house by giving the man back his wife. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at it, like you said, the house, because it said his wife. So you can imagine these men servants who are the husband to these maid servants. What's going on? Why we ain't having no kids? The master of the house done messed up, and we all being punished for it.
We all being punished all the way down. But what happens with the head of the house flows down to the rest of the house. Go ahead.
For Yahweh had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech.
Check that out. Check that out. You don't take care of this business here, I'm telling you, all y'all gonna have some problems. And you have to wonder if that's what he was on a mad dash for wives for, to try and get past what was happening. But see, Yahweh preserves a way for his servants before his servants even get to a place. So I'm already working on, go to this place right here. Why you want me to go there? Because I've been beating up on this dude for 15 years waiting for you. You say boo, I'm telling you he's a king, but you say boo, he gonna just, okay? I'm telling you, I've been working on this dude, man. Just go right here. This is where you need to go right here. Now he gonna look scary, but he not gonna do nothing. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20. And we're gonna read verses 10 through 21.
Verse 10. And the man that commits adultery with another man's wife, even he that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Now we have the institution of the law regarding adultery. But there was already a culture concerning adultery and being with another man's wife before there was law. So that means it was in Yahweh's culture already. And when people don't want to deal with something, they say, well, you know, that was something that was given to the Jews. Well, how is it that in Genesis we can find this between two different cultures of individuals? Because Abraham, there is no Israelite at this point because there is no Jacob yet. Then you have him dealing with Abimelech, who is like, I think, a Philistine. These are two totally different types of individuals, yet they have the same culture when it comes down to marriage. That means the culture existed before the law. Go ahead.
And the man that lies with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
And you notice it says both of them. But then when you get into the situation and examine what happened between Bathsheba and King David, Yahweh never mentioned one word of punishment toward Bathsheba. The law said both of them supposed to die, the adulterer and the adulteress. But he made Dawid be accountable for the power that he had. Understand, Dawid comes in and they sing song. Saul his thousands, David his 10,000s. Them poor women couldn't stand the day. He was a good looking brother. He was a poet. He was a musician. This brother had it going on. He walk in and skirts just fall off. Sisters can't even figure out what happened to my skirt. It keep falling. I don't know what happened. Oh, David came on.
Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. Yeah. Can you put another loop in this? Put another loop in this. I need to be preparing when David comes because this just does not work right.
So all the punishment went to David. Yahweh held him accountable. Man, I put my glory on you. And look at what you used my glory for to go and deal with this other man's wife. She only suffered in the loss of the child, but that was about him, not about her. Then their next son gets to be the king. He did not deal with her. Although the law says the adulterer and the adulteress. But when you wield the power of Yahweh, you got to be careful which way you wield. Go ahead.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
You better not read this at your job. You're going to be at Georgia Department of Labor.
I was only reading the Bible. Well, you can read the Bible from your house from now on.
You better leave that alone. Go ahead.
And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
Right, and you find this out in the Midwest places where them dudes marry the mama and the daughter. His law said they're supposed to be set on fire. Go ahead.
And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and you shall slay the beast.
Po beast.
I was just trying to chew some grass. I tried to kick him.
Go ahead.
And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, you shall kill the woman and the beast.
Why? Because you done wrought confusion. Because now the beast, it don't want other beasts no more. Now the beast looking at your woman's side, cross-eyed. Hey man, what the hell that donkey looking like that? Hey, we gotta get rid of this thing. Hey, get rid of this thing. I don't like the way this thing looking at my woman. You gotta be careful where you buy a donkey from. Hey man, what you used to do with that donkey? What you do with that donkey, bro? Cause I brought that donkey home. That donkey started looking funny at my woman, bro. What's wrong? What you do with that? Go ahead, bro.
They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness.
Now you understand the situation that happened when it says the brother saw the sons saw Noah's nakedness. Noah's nakedness is just not about Noah. Noah's wife is Noah's nakedness because she belongs to him. So when you read that and you just be like, you know, okay, so the man saw his daddy naked and, you know, that's something to be cursed about, you know? I mean, you know, hey, some of us done saw our daddy and he done had a little bit too much to drink and, you know, a squirrel come out or something. And, hey, what's wrong with you, crazy man? Put your clothes on. That ain't nothing to be cursed about. Except when you put into the equation that the woman is also part of his nakedness. So instead of covering it, what all did he examine? And then went and told his brothers. But then they walked in backwards and covered their father's nakedness. Go ahead.
And she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his lawlessness. Pardon.
So this thing has been set forth. This is culture. You do these things, then Yahweh's going to deal with you. And it's important for us to hear this and know this so that we won't think that we doing some things or not doing some things out of our own goodness. Go ahead.
And now we even see back to David again with his children when his son did what he did to his sister.
Uh-huh.
And then the girl's like, why you want to do me like this? Because what? Now she's supposed to be cut off.
Well, you consider David ended up dealing with, you know, somebody else's wife. Mm-hmm. And then Yahweh brought that from within his own house, that his son raped his daughter. I mean, this punishment is going. Then another son go and kill the son that raped the sister. Mm-hmm. See that's what you call punishment right there. But you know what, we'll be sitting there going, why is this happening to me? Oh, I don't know why I never done anything. Right. Sure you haven't.
You know, he went through it all kinds of ways because he got another son that slept with 10 of his concubines.
Right. In the daylight. Man, right. Don't leave that out. Don't leave that out. On the top of the hill. So everybody could see. Yahweh said you did this thing in the darkness, but I'm gonna make your judgment come to you during the light of day. So you got people at the bottom of the hill.
This is interesting. I was coming to get some wheat, and you see this? Here's some popcorn. And Paul taking some of this corn because I'm definitely not going anywhere until this is finished.
And then you got slow-mo, the next son with Bathsheba, who just couldn't stop getting wise.
Right. But what was he born in? Into that same situation, and that ended up being his downfall. Constantly going after women. Women. Couldn't stop. Every situation had to do something with a woman. What person can even remember 1,000 people's names? Come on, man. After so long, everybody just get nickname buddy, slick partner, Big Black. What's up, Big Black? You don't know all these people's names. Come on, man. Ain't nobody remember no 1,000 names. Why Big Black? Because you big and you black. That's why it's real easy to figure out why you would be called Big Black. Yeah. I ain't call you Little White, did I? I did. Then you be mad. I ain't gonna call me Little White. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness.
Her sickness is during her cleansing while she is going through her purification on her cycle. Go ahead.
He has discovered her fountain, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among their people.
So both of them shall be cut off from among their people. So then that means this is a bona fide situation where a sister is supposed to be fighting that brother.
I mean, Look, it's been 3.5 days. I mean, surely you okay? I mean, can I just lay right here for a second?
This is when the sister said, "Get out of here, fool!" I tell you what, I'm gonna call the priest. All right, never mind. All right, never mind. I'm gonna go watch TV. So this is a bona fide situation where a woman should not be agreeing with her husband. Okay? This is an official argument. You can go ahead and put this one down. You are right, sister. I don't care what nobody tell you. You are right. I don't care how smooth his voice get. If he give you that, hey yo, hey yo, hey, I just want, hey, let me talk to you. You are right. Okay? Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 3. He said, you got to think about that punishment. They said both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say she said, well, I just want to, agree with my husband. Right. So now both of y'all die.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to live. And I nominate myself. I nominate me. I'm just saying. 2 Samuel chapter 3, and let's read verses 7 through 16.
And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Ahiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Wherefore have you gone in unto my father's concubine?" Now, understand something now. The father is dead. Okay? And then, let it not, escape you. Abner is a general. All right? So we can go ahead and put the stamp on him. Certified killer. All right? Mm-hmm. So understand who you're talking to right now. See, this is what happened when you have a young boy who was raised and separated from things, and he ain't really about that life. Okay? He not about that life. He been raised privileged. That's why we move far out somewhere, so that our kids don't have to deal with the hood life. All right? But them kids don't know that they have not been raised in the hood. So then they think that they can run up on a straight certified killer. So then now he runs off at the mouth, and then he realized, dang, this a killer. Go ahead. Then was Abner very angry for the words of Ishbosheth, and said, Am I a dog's head, which against Yehuda do show kindness this day unto the house of Saul your father, to his brethren, and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hand of Dawid, that you charged me today with a fault concerning this woman? So do Elohim to Abner, and more also, except as Yahweh had sworn to Dawid, even so I do to him. Now, this lets you know that he knows what Elohim has sworn unto Dawid. He kept fighting to preserve another man's house. Go ahead. To translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to set up the throne of Dawid over Israel and over Yehuda, from Dan even to Beersheba. And he could not answer Abner a word again, because he feared him. Right, now he just realized that he in a conversation with a killer. It is important, it is imperative that you understand the nature of the individual of which you are engaged in conversation with. Until, it's a bad situation that you realize that at the point,
oh man, I could die.
You probably should have thought about that when you began this conversation, because you done said it with your chest, little privileged boy who ain't never been through nothing, gonna decide that you gonna run up against a killer. Go ahead. And Abner sent messengers to Dawid on his behalf, saying, Whose is the land? Saying also, Make your league with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to bring about all Israel unto you. And he said, Well, I'll make a league with you, but one thing I require of you, that is, you shall not see my face except you first bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face. Right. Why? Because he married her. Okay? And he paid a bride price for her as well. So now this is the part that women don't like. This is a connection to commerce right here. Oh, no. I paid a bride price for her. Go ahead.
And David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Deliver me my wife Michal, which I espoused to me for 100 foreskins of the Philistines.
Hey, that was probably the greatest price that he had ever paid for any situation. And he brought more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But 100 was what was laid upon him. He ain't had to do that for no other wife. No. Bring me my wife. So they have been separated and she has gone about her life. Go ahead.
And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband.
So now we got two husbands in this situation. Situation. So he done went and took her out of another man's house. Go ahead.
You know, you see how quick the kingdom start falling because you ain't got no backing with Abner no more to help you.
No.
So now you got, look, you David and Abner? No,
done deal. You might as well put butter on you. You are toast. Go ahead.
Even from Phalatiel, the son of Laish. And her husband went with her along weeping behind her to Beharim.
So he done follow the whole city. I love her. She not yours, bruh. Know what to tell you. Go ahead.
Then said Abner unto him, Go, return. And he returned.
You see what happened when killers talk? See what happened when killers talk? All right, man. Look, you done followed here crying long enough. Now, I'm going to have some leniency with you. You sure you want to go down? Because David a killer too. All right? A bona fide killer. Now, you sure you want to look in the eyes of the killer and say, oh, this dude that been with my wife? You might want to leave now. You stand a better chance of living with me than with him. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it. Let's go to Judges chapter 14. Judges chapter 14, and let's start that at verse 16.
And Samson's wife wept before him and said, You does but hate me and love me not.
So he has put forth this riddle, and nobody can figure out the riddle. And now they done pressed upon his wife to say, all right, you done married this man, and he coming in here presenting this riddle. You better find out the answer for us. Go ahead.
You have put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and have not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it you? And she wept before him the 7 days.
She wept before him 7 days. She weighing him down. Now, he the strongest man alive. But she weighing him down on the inside. Go ahead.
While their feast lasted, and it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down.
Now, understand something. The people of her city had threatened to burn her and her father if they didn't find out the riddle. See, this is one of those things of who you trust in. Because she decided to go ahead and deceive her husband to keep from her people burning her and her father. Go ahead.
What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, you had not found out my riddle. And the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house.
Now, how many times people done had, a marital spat? His wife has deceived him. He is angry, so he went to his dad's house. How many times you and your woman done got into it? I'm going to my mama's house. Well, go on in. And then you right outside the door. Baby, I was wrong. How you doing, Miss Johnson? I'm sorry. Keisha in now? You mad for that moment. Keep reading.
But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend.
So now in his absence, now she done been given into somebody else. Go ahead.
But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid.
So now husband come, but there's another husband. We got a problem. Now we got a problem. Go ahead.
And he said, I'll go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in. And her father said, I verily thought that you had utterly hated her.
I thought. Go ahead.
Therefore I gave her to your companion.
I gave her to your friend. You know Buddy, who you hang, you know Buddy now? Buddy got your wife. You mean tell me Jody got my wife and done gone? Go ahead.
Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray you, instead of her.
This is what things get interesting. Go ahead.
And Samson said concerning them, Now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the firebrands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the shocks, and also the standing corn, with the vineyards and olives.
He has messed up all of their food by setting these things on fire and making them run through. Go ahead.
Then the Philistines said,
Now that's a mad brother right there. See? You give away my cookies, I'm gonna burn up your corn. You see that? Fair exchange, cooking for corn. Go ahead.
Then the Philistines said, Who has done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timonite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire.
Now, they were deceiving him so that they wouldn't get burnt with fire. But then by giving the woman away, they still got burnt with fire. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6.
Run right into what you're running from.
That's what happens sometimes. You know, you watch them scary movies and they running from the bad man, only to turn around and bump into the bad man. And you just running. Proverbs chapter 6, and let's read verses 20 through 35.
My son, keep your father's commandment and forsake not the law of your mother.
Right. So then we have this situation where we have fathers naturally and we have mothers naturally. But then you have a father spiritually, which is Yahweh, and your mother naturally is the church. But we will go against both of those things for our own personal feelings. Go ahead.
Bind them continually upon your heart and tie them about your neck. When you goeth, it shall lead you. When you sleep, it shall keep you. And when you awake, it shall talk with you. For the commandment is a light, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Right, but you have those that will not be reproved. This is what causes the issues. They will not be reproved. They are fine with Yahweh's word as long as they don't get corrected. They truly believe that they are above correction. They believe that their length of time in the word releases them from any correction. Go ahead.
To keep you from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in your heart, neither let her take you with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life.
And you can switch that around. Okay? Because there's whorish men. Don't let him take you with his eyelids either. Because he'll bat them just like a woman. Go ahead.
Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burnt?
See, that's what we believe.
Yeah, I'm going to walk through this fire, but I'm just going to come out smoking.
Nah, you're going to come out on fire. Go ahead.
Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burnt? So he that goes in to his neighbor's wife, whosoever touches her shall not be innocent.
Right. And Yahweh don't really care about the circumstances. The other brother, he was like, I didn't know. Yahweh like, I know you didn't know. But still, I'm going to kill you though, if you don't get her back. So the real important part about that is really not just that it was a man's wife, especially in that situation with Abraham. You might want to look at the caliber of that man too. Because if that's a servant of Yahweh, you about to get it. Go ahead.
Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he's hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso commits adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that does it destroys his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away.
Right. Check that out. His reproach shall not be wiped away. Go ahead.
For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
Right. Jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. You ain't going to be able to talk him down off of that. Samson wasn't about to have no conversation. Wasn't no talking. He already tried to give him a ransom. Won't you take a younger sister? Nah. I'm finna kill some people. Jealousy is the rage. He wasn't about having no conversation. No, I'm finna deal with this. Came because of what them fellas think. I'm gonna make sure that they feel what I'm feeling. And he not taking no ransom. Ain't no talking to him. Go ahead.
He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though you give him many gifts.
Though you give many gifts. You can offer him all the gifts you want. He ain't come for no gifts. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. And even though these people were of a different nation, they understood exactly why Samson was mad. They weren't confused. They knew exactly why he was angry. Genesis chapter 3, and let's read verses 1 through 11.
For the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, as Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die.
There's always some serpent adding some other words into a situation. Be careful who you entertain in private conversation. There's a reason why they don't offer that in front of everybody. That's why they got their little private chat groups. So they can privately say some foul stuff that they ain't man enough to say out in the open. Go ahead.
For Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahweh El walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden.
Now, they realized that they were naked, so they made a covering of fig leaves. Okay? So they have a covering naturally, but they don't really understand that they don't have a covering spiritually. Go ahead.
And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said unto him, Who told you that you was naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
Mm-hmm.
And the man said, The woman who you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Jump to verse 20.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahweh Elohim make coats of skins and clothe them.
Right. So then unto Adam also and to his wife did Yahweh Elohim make coats of skins. Those, if you look up that word skins, you're going to find that it's talking about animal hide. Then you find coats and you look it up and it refers us to robes. So now he has given them a covering of animal skins. Now this is a part of the spiritual covering, because what has to happen? Those animals had to be sacrificed for him to have those skins. You're looking at the first sacrifice that was not explained or anything. Now you got to be careful about these mystics and all these other people who read the book, because let them tell it. Yahweh took the skin off the animal, but he left the animal. So somewhere in the garden, there's a skinless animal. That would scare the hell out of me. If I walked up and there was a deer with, there was no skin, he just had antlers. I'm getting the hell out of there. I'm not trying to figure out what he ate, where he came from. I know where I'm going, and it is away from that. Go ahead, bro.
And Yahweh Elohim said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore Yahweh Elohim sent him forth from the Garden of Eden, to till the ground from whence he was taken.
Right. So when man transgresses, although he's the one that's running from Yahweh, it is definitely causing separation between him and his Elohim. Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
So then you even have to, makes you wonder about some of that when you get down to it, that there is a cherub who he sent to guard this tree. So you have to wonder about Lucifer's involvement, understanding that he was a cherub angel as well. Let's go to Genesis chapter 15. So then we see this sacrifice before law. Genesis chapter 15, let's read verses 1 through 10.
After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. And Abram said, Adonai Elohim, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me you have given no seed, and, lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And, behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
He believed in Yahweh. See, when you believe, there's something that is attached to that belief. You have a whole lot of people that believe in mouth, but not in deed. They believe in word. They believe with the things that come out of their mouth. But then when you wait and see their actions, you find out that they don't believe in deed. That means their deeds don't show that they are a believer. Their words indicate that they are a believer. So that's why Yahweh allows some things to happen, so that you can see that some of the people that are around you are not like you. It's one of the things that we think all the time. We think that, they just like us. They came to deal with the word. No, Yahweh gonna bring forth the right situation so you can see exactly who it is that's standing beside you. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, I am Yahweh that brought you out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adonai Elohim, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
And check that out. He's giving him all of these things. This is sacrifice going on in Genesis. There's no law about sacrifice. Then this is Yahweh's culture then. See, there's some things that we are fighting against, not understanding. We think we're just fighting against a law. What you're fighting against is the heart of Elohim. Go ahead.
And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not.
All right, did you finish that?
Verse 10.
All right, let's go to Genesis chapter 22. So then we see this whole setup of a sacrifice, but this sacrifice is not connected to law. This sacrifice is outside of law. So law didn't bring the sacrifice. Law brought the understanding of sacrifice. Law brought the various instructions concerning sacrifice, but law didn't bring the sacrifice. Genesis chapter 22, and let's read verses 1 through 13.
And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Esau, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of.
Right, and we already know that if Yahweh said that to us, most of us are going to fail right off the rip. Not only does he wait until this man is old in his age to give him this child, then he turn around and ask him to give up the child. But you have to deal with all these correlations. This is a direct correlation of what's going to happen with Christ. So he tells him to offer up his son, his only son. Now, you know he got one more son. But Yahweh said, no, this is the promised seed. I done made promises concerning this boy. So now, is his mind, is his noodle being cooked at this point? You made promises about this boy. Now you telling me to sacrifice this boy? Yeah, I want to see if you're going to serve me or not. Go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass.
You see that? He got up early in the morning. When we don't want to do something, we purposely late.
Well, I mean, you know, supposed to be there at 10. I mean, I'm going to get there around 10 minutes to 12. Okay.
Go ahead.
And took 2 of his young men with him, and Esaac his son, and clave the wood for a burnt offering, and rose up, and went on to the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off.
Another correlation with the Mashiach. Why you have this 3rd day? It's already now begin to correlate to what Yahweh is going to do with his son. So he's instructing Abraham to do it with his. Go ahead. Verse 5.
And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you.
Check that out. Yahweh done told him to go offer the boy. You see the faith of Abraham? I'm finna go and worship, and me and the boy coming back. What? You finna go offer the boy, right? How you and the boy coming back? Because I believe by Elohim. Me and the boy coming back. Go ahead.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Esau his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Esau spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father? And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering?
Stop. So the boy understand burnt offering? Why does the boy understand the burnt offering? Right. This is something that the boy done seen. But ain't no law. There's no nation of Israel. Why does the boy understand, hey, and not only does he understand burnt offering, he understands what kind of animal. He said, where is the lamb for the burnt offering? He didn't say what a goat, what a pig, what a dog. No, he knew exactly. Dad, I don't think we're doing this right. We're supposed to have something to offer. Poor boy. Go ahead.
And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering.
Another step of faith. Another thing of belief. Elohim will provide. Do you believe that Yahweh has the power to fix you? Go ahead.
So they went both of them together, and they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Esau his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son.
This is a son who also completely trusts his father. Because at this point, if the boy already knew that there was supposed to be a lamb for the burnt offering, he realizes as he's being tied that he is now the lamb. And you don't read him kicking his dad in the face, no fight happening. Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you feareth Elohim.
You see that? Go ahead.
Seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
Right. And we know right off the rip that we have been amongst those who would fail even an inkling of that test. Because not only will they not do nothing to their son, they won't discipline their son. They won't discipline their wives. They won't tell them that, no, this wasn't right. And Yahweh can't use them kind of people. They are unusable. Go ahead.
And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Which is why we always blow with a ram's horn. The ram was caught in the thicket. He didn't know how Yahweh was going to deliver a suitable burnt offering, but he believed even before he went. Check that out. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17, and let's read verses 22 through 23.
And while they abode in Galilee, Yahshua said unto them, The Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the third day he shall be raised again.
Right. There was a reason why it was 3 days separation in that journey for before they saw the place where Esaac was to be offered up. Go ahead.
And they were exceeding sorry.
All right. So then when you deal with this, there's so many correlations that have to be made there. But this whole concept of what's happening to Yahshua, a lot of people want to deal with this and they separate it from what happened in the Old Testament. But the entire situation with Esau is a foreshadowing of what is happening with the Mashiach. So if you don't deal with that, you're not only watching pre-law sacrifice, you're also watching faith. You're also watching fear of Elohim. You're watching all of that before there is this organized system of law. The culture already exists. And that's something that we have to deal with. Now, the children of Israel broke the commandment and searched for the bread of heaven on the Sabbath day. They had no idea that Yahweh would eventually give them the true bread from heaven, which is Yeshua. Also, as examined, the child Esaac, who was to be offered up, but was redeemed by Elohim, and the ram caught in the thicket was offered in his place. Generations later, Yahweh would bring the true ram caught in the thicket, Yeshua, to be offered for the redemption of the children of Israel. That is all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Brother, we have new moon when?
Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening is new moon, and we will be doing our Bible trivia through Zoom at 4:30. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.